my lovelies, and welcome to today's video. My name's Alya and I'm so glad you stopped by. Today's 101 on eye hygiene, how to keep the eyes clean, infection free, and how to cope with little flare-ups here and there. If you want to watch and hear about how I do things and things that I even use on my kids, all very benign, all very safe, please do stick around. This is such a great time to talk about this topic because half the world's going into winter and the other half is going into summer, which are the two times when, you know, eyelids, they tend to flare up, they tend to get ignored, and we tend to see problems that then extend into our springtime and our autumn. And then we start to blame allergies or pollens and whatever else, but really it was the wind and the heat and the other unattended to issues of the previous season that could follow through. So that's what I'm going to be focusing on today. How to look after your lids in the first place so that they don't have trouble later. So the main thing of all is to make sure that the eye care that you are using, so the makeup remover, the moisturizer, whatever it is that you're putting on around your eye area, is safe for the eyes. So you want to avoid ingredients like talc. You want to make sure that when you do wash your eye, you're using a really nice solution, something that's got minimal ingredients. Salt water is a fantastic thing to use. You can use something like this, which is a bit more oil based, which has got beautiful things like chamomile in it. You could just put some boiled water and a drop of lavender in there. Something that's going to make your makeup shift, or make all the debris of the day shift. Makeup isn't so much important as much as all the just stuff that gets blown on your face all day long. And most important is to also make sure that your sinuses are clear. So I've been routinely, if it's been a windy day or if I'm feeling a little bit headachy, congested, anything like that, I routinely use this thing to clear out the sinuses. Now what it is it's a special baker solution that helps the sinuses get cleared out. It's very safe, it's very benign, you're not going to hurt yourself or cause any problems doing it. Don't do it too often, you don't want to dry out the sinuses. You don't want to clean them out too well because you do need a little bit of mucus to protect your body and protect from new things coming up higher into the sinuses and causing infection. There's a reason we have mucus all around there, so you don't want to do it too often. But if you're already congested and you can already feel, you know, a little bit of pressure in there, that's a really great way to go about it. The other really good solution is a little bit of peppermint oil right before bed in the pressure spots. You can do a little bit behind the ears as well. Some people, if you can tolerate it, do on the roof of their mouth. Really powerful. Make sure you're using a really good quality peppermint oil. As you guys know, I'm a Young Living fan. I think that, you know, why skip out if the best is right in front of you? You know, there are definitely alternatives out there, but it's definitely better. You know, you don't have to go for the best, but it's definitely the better one out there. Now, in terms of cleaning the lids, I think it's really important, especially if you've been getting a little bit of discharge in the morning around your eyes and a little bit of flakiness around your eyelashes, to go in with a little makeup round, a little bit of cotton. You can use just plain boiled water. I would not use tap water. I'm not a fan of tap water. I just think there's too much going on in there. And all I would do with that is take it into the edge of my fingernail and through the round. So let's pretend this is a cotton round. Just go through and have a really good massage. Like, it's kind of like a scratch, but you're more kind of giving it a rub as you're scratching. And what you're doing is you're loosening up all the bits and pieces. The other thing you can use, if you want to use something a little bit more than just water and salt or just water and oil, you can most certainly use a baby shampoo, and I would use this one. You can even use the adult version. It's also very benign and clean. The reason I always recommend baby shampoo in the clinic is because there's less stuff legally added into baby shampoo than what there is into adult shampoos. But even then, I would use a company that at least claims to be clean. At least that way you can guarantee minimal amount of ingredients, which is what we're after here. The idea is that with eyes, you don't want any fragrances, no way. You don't want any phthalates, you don't want any nasties basically in there. What you want is basically a little bit of soaping agent, not SLS, a little bit of oil like coconut oil, tea tree oil, lavender oil is fine, all those type of things, not in the eyes, on the eyes. And then that way all you're doing is you're decongesting the pathways. All of our protective pathways on our eyes work via the lids. There's a few cells on the actual whites of our eyes, on the conjunctiva. Everything else is sitting underneath the lid on the tarsal plate, which is basically like when you flip your lid over, that's what you're seeing. And in there you'll see these little tiny canals, And those canals, what they are responsible for is bringing good mucus into the eye, which will then lead to protecting the eye from any kind of further issue. Of course, I'm going to sit here and recommend that everybody go as green as possible with their makeup and their skincare and all that sort of great stuff. But as you'll see, it's not 100% achievable. The person that I look up to the most when it comes to using green ingredients will still color her hair. I still get my SNS done. There are still things in this world that are unavoidable. We still go outside where people drive cars and create pollution that way. We still have, you know, rubbish bins in our house that produce gases. We still use cooking appliances that, you know, it's not about being 100% clean. That's not an achievable thing. Even cavemen, you know, had other animals around them. I mean, we still produce gases ourselves. It's not a possibility to be completely green. So that's the next thing. Obviously, that's not the aim here anyway. That's ridiculous and unachievable, and it frankly could cause too much stress to even try. You still want to sort of enjoy your life and enjoy, you know, society and all that sort of stuff. So I'm definitely not that sort of gung-ho about it. All I'm saying is that try and avoid nasty ingredients that we know are bad for us. It's the same level of consciousness as don't smoke, for example. You know, you're not going to put fragrance on your skin because you know it's just as bad for you potentially as what smoking might be. For example, I'm not actually making that statement. I'm just saying that that could be your mentality. That could be what you're going for. So that's why I try and use clean products and clean ingredients, but it's not completely, you know, fail-proof. So for that reason, it's really important to have a good source of omega-3s in your diet and a good source of antioxidants. That is also going to help your eyes produce all the right kind of quality fluids and mucuses and whatnot. And that's going to create a much healthier environment and also going to help you fight infections and debris and discharges and skin problems around the eyes. Now, I'm someone who will fall asleep with my makeup on. I do always shower before bed, but I don't always properly strip my face of my makeup because mostly I'm lazy. I will be fully honest about that. So a lot of the time, and to the point where I'll shower and avoid my face and head because I don't want to wear my hair or my face, basically. So that does definitely happen time to time. I will often then do that routine in the morning if I've got time, or if it's so bad that it needs to be completely reset. But I'm also the queen of saving yesterday's makeup for a new day. I'll admit that. When you are saving your makeup from yesterday, it's really important as well to get rid of all the debris from the day before. You definitely don't want anything going into your eyes. And the other thing is, I wouldn't do it with regular makeup. The reason that I feel comfortable doing that is because I know that in the stuff that I'm currently putting on my face, which is this beautiful palette here, when we look at the ingredients, there is absolutely nothing nasty in there. It's a little bit of coloring, a little bit of powder, all natural, and a little bit of mineral. Literally, that's it. So, you know, nothing there is hurting me or my skin. It is definitely, though, congesting, you know, in its own little tiny way. Relatively less than other brands, but it's still going to be sitting on top of my skin and preventing it from breathing nicely. So the way to reset that the next day is to make sure that when you do your skincare routine, you make sure that you're using a really nice natural product, and you're really doing good things with your diet to help your skin. The best thing, of course, is to take the makeup off and is to let it breathe and is to do a full-on nighttime routine, which, you know, 5 nights out of 7 I will do. I'm just saying for those nights that you don't, the good thing to do is to have really good backup, really good support in case that does happen. And a lot of us are single mums and busy and working and have a lot of things going on. So if that's the case, then that's totally fine. Don't feel guilty, but just do the right thing the rest of the time so that you have a little bit more in the reserve to support that skin and to support that eye area. I'm going to continue on with this palette, which is exactly the same brand, similar ingredients. This one also has some shimmer in it thanks to some beautiful minerals like amethyst and quartz. So again, all beautiful things that aren't going to hurt my skin or my eyes. But if you notice the way I apply it is I always use brushes. And the reason that I use brushes is that they're very cleanable. And that's the next thing. If you're someone who uses makeup, make sure you clean your applicators regularly. I'm not saying every single time, although I do know those who will not use a brush that's already got makeup on it. I'm not sure that has to be so pedantic, but think about it like a toothbrush. You're not going to use a toothbrush that has stuff on it, right? You're going to run it under hot water. You're going to make sure it's clean, and then you're going to put it in your mouth. So whatever you put on your eyes, you probably should be comfortable to put in your mouth. I think that could be a good rule to follow. I use the Thieves soap and a few drops of Thieves household cleaner to clean my brushes. Why I like that, the soap bubbles, it's a very dilute solution, it's mostly warm water, boiled water, but a few pumps of the concentrated soap and a few drops of the household cleaner in a little bowl like this. You can see how nasty it is because I just cleaned some brushes, so all the stuff is on the bottom. What that gives me is a beautiful clean utensil that will then apply makeup reliably and will spread it beautifully and evenly. I won't suddenly get a nice smack of black or a dark color at the end of my application, which can happen if you use a dirty brush, even though it looks clean. If you haven't cleaned it, that can most certainly happen, and it can, you know, put a spatter in all your beautiful work as well. So we definitely want to use beautiful, hygienically clean things. Why I use the Thieves is because it's so gentle on the actual brush tips. These are all vegan brushes, so you can see that with these products, it's not actually hard to just tap out the product. It's that simple. But what I like is that all my dead skin cells, all the oils that my brushes will then pick up from my skin. I've also got foundation on, as you can see me apply before, so all of that stuff is now on my brushes. Even though it's microscopic, it's really there. But more importantly than anything, all the bacteria that lives on our skin, every last one of us has E. coli, has all kinds of crap on our skin. Naturally, it's there, it lives on us. We are living things, so we have things living on us. It's normal. You don't want it getting into your brush, festering, and then you put it into your eye and then you wonder why your eye's red. The eye is really, a healthy eye is really capable of fighting off a minor infection. That's not a big deal, but you don't want it to get out of control. You don't want it to be a regular thing, and you don't want to be introducing it forcefully via your brushes into your eye. It's just not the kind of stress your eye needs, really. So best to avoid it. Last but not least is, what do you do if you do get an infection? Well, it definitely happens. It's happened to me a million times. I always get these allergic outbreaks, especially in the sort of associated with sinus congestion, so associated with hay fever. I also get really, really itchy, red, swollen ears at the same time, so I know it's hay fever. My solution there is, if you can, this is not for everyone, but if you can source yourself a nice, raw, locally cold pressed honey, so as natural as you can possibly get, like to the point where you can, when you eat it, if you feel like you're the bear scooping it up with your paw, like it has to be that clean. And most local honey suppliers will have it that way. You're not going to get that in the supermarket, but you'll definitely get that at the health food store or the farmer's market, that type of thing. The honey I get, the health food shop actually collects cash and gives it straight to the bee man because, you know, it's that straightforward. It's that small of a hive, so that you don't get much, and it's not a reliable thing because they don't always have, you know, bees don't, they're not factory workers exactly. They're not going to work based on our needs. They're going to work on the season. So I stock up. I definitely have a few jars always so that I never run out. And if I'm ever stuck, I'll just get some Manuka. That's fine, because it's not going to be perfect, but it's still going to be really good immune boosting stuff. Now, why local honey? Because local honey has your local pollens in it, so whatever you're allergic to is very likely to be in there. Why cold pressed? Because then you're still going to get that little bit of pollen through the honey into your system. It creates almost like a vaccine. And it definitely works. I'm here to testify that it definitely works for me and for my mum and for probably about half of the patients I've told to do this. They claim they're doing it daily, and that's what it is. You have to keep it up daily. If you're having a little bit of honey every day, I'm saying a teaspoon, it's not a lot, then, and you don't forget and you're not putting it into hot tea and denaturing it or anything like that, you're literally having a cold teaspoon of honey every single day, it will work. It will stop your allergies, at least decrease them. You can also use Manuka Eye Drops. Manuka Eye Drops are really, really, really stingy, so they're not for the faint-hearted, but they're a more natural way to create an anti-inflammatory and antihistamine type effect in the eye to stimulate the eye's natural immune system. And that's a really great way to tackle things without having to use medicated anti-inflammatories. Very, very good sort of option to do things. The issue with that is, yes, it stings. It still does have preservative in it, which is not perfect. Not the end of the world, but just not perfect. And it's not quick to act because it is quite a natural product. So sometimes if you have already got an infection, if you've already got a problem, sometimes you just have to go the route of medication. But, you know, you can always try it first, or you can definitely, you know, not let it get bad in the first place. And the first sign of a tingle, use Manuka drops. But you might not be able to source them where you are. So this is what is far more practical. Flush out with saline, which is homemade hot boiling water, a teaspoon of salt. Sea salt is great, but any salt is fine. And just let it sit and cool. As soon as it's warm, like room temperature, get a nice clean cotton bud and just flush, flush, flush. Let the water pour into your eye. It might be uncomfortable and whatnot, but just let it flush, flush, flush. Chances are your eye is just not able to get enough out of the eye quickly enough with tears. So, you know, you just need to basically help it decongest or clean out all that stuff. And once that stuff's cleaned out, then you'll be fine, and the eye can do its thing and fight the actual underneath infection once the actual stressor is out of there. Failing all that, of course, see your doctor, get some antibiotic eye drops, but you know, there are things that are much more practical that you can definitely do to start before you do all the other stuff. How long should you leave it until you see an eye doctor or an optometrist about your eye infection? Look, if you're trying all these home remedies and you're doing something to decrease the situation, I wouldn't leave it too long. If you're in pain same day, then it's an emergency. Pain often means a viral infection, like say a cold sore in the eye or something like that. So I wouldn't leave that at all, and I wouldn't try and flush that or do anything other than moisturize and go straight to the doctor, just to relieve the pain a little bit and go straight to the doctor. Or even emergency room. But if you're not in pain, if it's just uncomfortable and just a little bit of discharge, then yeah, definitely try these home remedies for at least a day or two before seeing anyone. But you can definitely go to the optometrist or the GP or your family doctor about it while you wait, if that's something that's available to you. Some infections can be more serious than others, so it's really hard to self-diagnose. Even if you know what you're looking at, it's really hard to self-diagnose because you're the one that's experiencing it, so it changes all the perspective. That's one of the hardest parts about eyes, is because your eyes are the thing that you need to make the decision, and then your eyes are the things that's infected, so it's kind of harder. But you know, it doesn't hurt to flush the eyes no matter what's going on. It doesn't hurt to lubricate the eyes no matter what's going on. I would highly recommend preservative-free products wherever possible, not always possible. And I would highly recommend having a good diet to support all of our systems, cells, but especially the eye. Has been proven time and time again, study after study, to benefit from a really good diet. Okay, my lovelies, I hope you enjoyed today's video. I hope you found it informative. I hope that these tips and tricks will help you one day. If you haven't checked out Instagram, I hope that you will do so today and see what's going on there. If you haven't subscribed, go ahead, press that red button. It's waiting for you to turn it grey and join this creative family. Wherever you are around the world, I hope you're having a great day. I hope you are keeping safe, and I will see you on the next one. Bye.